Hi, okay, I hope you can see the screen that I'm sharing. So, hi again, I'm Svetlana Dragayeva and I'm the CEO of Fountain Digital Labs. We call ourselves a FitTech company, which means we focus on technology that makes your life better, happier, and brings you more positive feelings into life. And today, I'd like to speak about virtual reality. And virtual reality we create, and also other types of virtual reality, and where virtual reality can be used in healthcare, in medical care, how it can help us with so many things in our lives, and simply show you that potentially VR can be a very powerful and very useful tool in our daily lives. So our project is called Virry VR. The company is called Fountain Digital Labs, and the project is called Virry VR. So just to give you a very short intro about what we focus on. So we're London-based, and we started back in 2012, and we first started with mobile technology, and then kind of organically turned to virtual reality, just because we were looking for technology that would allow us to efficiently match people in nature, people and animals, and bring nature closer to the 21st century contemporary user, who is most probably very much urbanized and doesn't meet nature that often. And we thought that nature therapy is a crucial thing in our lives. And we were just wondering whether it would be possible to bring nature therapy with the help of technology, whether there is something there that can bring benefits, mental health benefits, and health benefits in general with the help of virtual reality. So far we've created 3 different types of products. They're called all Virry VR. The latest product is mindfulness in nature. And so in general, we were trying to create products that would, in a way, the entertainment approach. I'm personally a film producer, so I come from film business, and of course the visual imagery is important to me, and I wanted to try and see whether there is a niche and a space for entertainment approach married with medical VR approach, because traditionally medical virtual reality is created by the doctors very often in the lab setting, and usually is used in the hospital setting, and not very much outside of hospital settings in our daily lives. And what we wanted to show is that if you marry the entertainment and gaming approach with medical approach, you can create products that could be consumed on the daily basis, and in general serve as I like calling them visual aids, visual supplements. Just as we go to, I don't know, Whole Foods or anywhere and grab our vitamin D, because we know that in the winter it's probably better to take some vitamin D, and we might grab some other food supplements. I thought that it would be really cool if you could also grab a visual supplement, so you don't actually need to swallow anything. You kind of consume it with your eyes, and you get certain health benefits with the help of visual imagery and technology such as virtual reality that helps you immerse in a much better way than a 2D technology. All right. Okay, I'm just trying to jump to the next slide. Whoops. Okay. And we as a company, we always tried a very serious approach, because we believe that potentially virtual reality is a very powerful tool. And as you might remember, at some point, Chris Milk called virtual reality an empathy machine. And I think it should not be taken for granted, because empathy potentially can be facilitated with virtual reality. but bad VR doesn't create any empathy. Bad VR doesn't do any good. So we've always worked with psychologists, cinematographers, and all sorts of specialists and professionals that could bring their expertise and create high quality virtual reality with very specific health benefits. So here are our products, just to give you a better idea. The last product, which is meditation, as I've mentioned, we were very concerned with writing proper scripts. We worked with meditation teachers, and then we also consulted meditation gurus and Buddhist monks, because I thought it was really important to create a high quality product, a product that definitely cannot hurt anyone, a product that can only bring good. That's our general approach. So that was my short intro, and now I'd like to tell you more about what's happening in general in VR in healthcare. So we can, speaking very broadly in general, we can say that VR is frequently used as a very successful distraction tool. Which means that it can be used in pre-operative situations, IVs, reduce stress and anxiety, again, especially before some painful procedures or surgeries. It can reduce pain, and there is some very interesting research, for example, with burn injuries, and you know that these care procedures can be very painful to patients, and VR seems to help really a lot with distracting our mind and reducing pain during painful procedures, which is a very actually effective and cool thing, because if it can work as well as a painkiller, then it's fantastic, right? Because it's a very low risk treatment. You don't take any pill, you don't take any medicine, and yet you can effectively reduce pain in patients. Again, post-surgery, recovering. So I call it, in broader terms, VR for distraction. So anywhere where we need to throw attention from something painful, unpleasant, to something else. Also with children, injections, injections are painful and not very pleasant. So there are quite a few very good examples of how children can be distracted with the help of a little short VR game, and how it really helps them. Then cognitive rehabilitation, brain injury, strokes, what else? Locomotion disorders, spatial navigation. VR is a 3D environment, right? So you can imagine that it can be very efficient with training. You can train spatial abilities, of course, in a much more efficient way, easier very often than in real life. Again, it's important to use virtual reality where it makes life easier, right? Where something is way too complicated to perform in real life, VR can really help there. Mental health, of course, in again, meditation, mindfulness, breathing exercises, and this is what we've been experimenting with quite successfully recently. And of course, you can you can easily imagine patients help cancer patients, for example. What is important here is that VR that is used in hospital settings should have a very short learning curve, right? You don't want patients to struggle with instructions and get lost in like what's the UI here, what am I supposed to do? So the learning curve need to be as short as possible. And the last thing that I'd like to mention is, of course, training medical practitioners. And again, here you can see very different approaches and applications, starting with surgeons, future surgeons. The surgeons are expected to perform very high quality, although they have very little practical training. And I mean, you all understand why usually surgeons mostly observe surgeries and operations, and it's not that they perform lots of surgeries while they're still studying. And of course here virtual reality can be a very successful and efficient tool, because especially with haptics, it can really help future surgeons to train their motor skills. Again, there is research that shows that surgeons who perform surgery in virtual reality before the real surgery perform better during the real surgery. Another big field is dealing with patients, including bringing bad news to the family, and in general to train and facilitate empathy and communication skills between nurses, for example, and patients. Here, all sorts of communication can be simulated in virtual reality and can be used for training. So as you can see, virtual reality is widely used in healthcare. It's still a quite new tool in healthcare. What is also interesting that when you read research papers about virtual reality in healthcare and different hospital settings, very frequently you don't even know what type of content was used, which is quite peculiar because you know, content is king, as we all know, and virtual reality ultimately is just a tool. So when you just read that with this group, VR was used and control group used something, was provided with something else, but you don't know which virtual reality, what type of content patients were provided with, it's very difficult to draw any conclusions on what content is more efficient, what content is more helpful to the patients, and which is not that much effective. So I hope that quite soon, when we read studies on virtual reality in healthcare, content will be described in a much more detailed way, so that we know what works and what actually doesn't work. Because right now it's a bit like a TV set works or a TV set doesn't work. TV is just a TV, right? It very much depends on what content you use and what you watch on TV, as opposed to just saying, oh, watch TV or don't watch TV. So the same with virtual reality. We truly believe that it's not about the tool per se. The technology is that. The technology potentially can be very powerful, but we really need to focus on content and test content and see what types of content bring better results and works better for patients. So today, I'd also like to tell you about two research studies that we conducted. One is a longitudinal study. We basically lived in a senior care facility for 5 months and introduced our virtual reality products to seniors who live in this senior care facility. And VR was kind of organically introduced into the daily schedule. They knew that every day they had a 5-minute break in our VR. Important to mention that all seniors are diagnosed with dementia, and we really want to see whether we can make life of people with dementia a bit easier, at least a bit. Pain. As I mentioned, VR can be used quite effectively to reduce pain. And with our VR, which is interactive and distracts you actually quite well, because you are busy doing something. You are busy feeding animals. You have a lioness, for example, or you need to feed a giraffe and you need to call the giraffe, so we have sound recognition too, or you need to bathe a rhino. So on the one hand, it's very sweet and funny, because I mean, who wouldn't like to feed a baby rhino, which is the most charming baby rhino? On the other hand, it seems to distract your brain very well. But what is very interesting is that we could see that the pain was reduced in the long term. Again, for those of you who train actively and can feel pain in their muscles, I think VR can be a great tool to relax after an extensive training, for example. Mood and satisfaction with life. On the one hand, you might think that, oh, mood is so, you watch something funny, of course, your mood is better, or your general feeling of satisfaction with life increases. But it's important to remember that we can't cure old age, right? That's why, especially in older age, it's very important to subjectively perceive your life as a good life, as a happy life, to be in the good mood, right? We know that seniors can be grumpy. Well, I'll definitely be a grumpy senior lady, but I hope that my VR will help me. So again, you can see that satisfaction with life increased during the whole period of our experiment. We were very happy to see that. Subjective age. Subjective age is an incredibly interesting thing. So if you and me both are 80, for example, and you feel 60 and I feel 80, and although our physical conditions can be pretty much the same, you will actually feel much better than I do, just because you feel younger. So in older age, it's extremely important to feel younger. And we didn't see any changes over the first 4 weeks. And then we decided that we need to prolong our study, and that was one of the reasons why we stayed in the senior care facility for almost 5 months, to see whether our nature-related, animal-related, so cute and funny VR can actually make people feel younger. Because intuitively we thought, well, we all have our animal stories, we all love animals at some point of our lives at least. And we were very happy to see how people started slowly but gradually but successfully feeling younger, feeling that their age was lower. It was really, for me personally, that was the most impressive thing that we saw in this study. So yeah, well, the feedback in general was very positive, and we're very confident that VR should be used, again, not just VR, but well-made VR can be used very efficiently with the seniors, of course, not only seniors. So to tell you a bit about younger people, we also conducted a study in a bank, so with bank employees, which means I think always tired and stressed and anxious employees. And there were a couple of things that we were very interested in. First of all, a depression score. So we used this test-back depression score and wanted to see whether our VR is capable of bringing depression level to 0. And as you can see, after 10 sessions, only 10 sessions, which means it was 3 weeks, right? Because people didn't have to come every day. They did not necessarily have time every day, but we asked them to come at least 3 times per week. So they knew that they have their short, like 10-minute breaks in virtual reality at least 3 times per week. And you can see that it really helps with anxiety, with stress, and with depression. Of course, again, positive influence. And, you know, it's it was very interesting to see. We had lots of comments like the green ones. It became more satisfying knowing that you can chill out on the African savannah or by the river at any time. And this is a very comforting feeling and thought, right? That throughout the day you can always get your little break in, you know, that your office is not next to a park, for example, and you can really go away from the office for, you know, longer time, right? But you can just go to your relaxation space, to the relaxation room, and do something for yourself. Run away from the phone for 10 minutes, right? And the good thing about virtual reality in the office setting is that you can't be using both your phone and the headset, right? Because the headset isolates you completely from the outside world. And finally, you have those 10 minutes only for yourself, right? So it's not a break where you go away from your computer and continue staring at your phone or going through your Facebook feed, but you are with yourself and for yourself for 10 minutes. And especially when it comes to mindfulness and breathing exercises, it's those of you who meditate know how difficult it is to simply switch from the working mode to meditation mode at the office. I find it very difficult, although I've been meditating for the last 8 years. And I find it much easier to change this mode with the help of the headset. I know when I put my headset on, I turn off, right? And I go somewhere else. And it really helps me to feel meditation mode much quicker than if I was just closing my eyes at the office, for example. As you said, I love conducting studies, and our team also loves it. So we're all about research and studies, not only sales, because I think it's very important to bring more high quality content into this world. I mean, content is created every second, every single day globally, right? And if you are a content creator, if you're a developer, it's much more satisfying if you create content that you know that it doesn't hurt, you know that it brings benefits, you know that it was created with a great team of professionals, with lots of love, care, money also, because good content costs a lot of money. And then you want to show and to prove that it actually does work. So we do conduct lots of studies. We also work with Stanford University, which is brilliant, Leeds, which is a very, very good university with great research programs in the UK. And we continue creating new products. We are now creating 4 new products for different types of audiences. And I think that I think it's so great to marry these two approaches: entertainment, make something fun, engaging for the user, for the viewer, and also beneficial for her or his health and mental health, especially in COVID. I wish I could say that we live in the post-COVID world, but we still live in very much COVID world with so much stress, anxiety, uncertainty, and we really want to bring you VR to make your life a bit easier, a bit happier, and hopefully when you use virtual reality products, you can really feel that they simply help in your life. I think that should be a goal of any VR developer, in my opinion. Alrighty, I think we're running late of time, but whoops. It's just a couple of words about us and all the absolutely fantastic professors we work with. I think we have the best advisors. Okay. So we work on both B2C and B2B, and I really would love to see more medical VR on the B2C market so that a wider audience can use it and can gain and receive all the benefits. So that's me, that's us. Should you feel like contacting us, please do. So enjoy all the VR you come across. Thank you very, very much for your time and attention. If there are any questions, feel free to contact me and I'll answer all your questions. Thank you very much. Thank you. Have a lovely day.